Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one and the only, oh, look at that, Rumboys Fantasy Network. I'm your host. It's your boy, Rumboys Robbie of the Rumboys Fantasy Network. Make sure that you guys take this opportunity right now. If you're viewing us on YouTube, first off, if you are viewing us on YouTube, we greatly appreciate you. If you're not, hopefully you direct your attention over to our YouTube channel at some point and hit that subscribe button. Spike that like button as well. You know, the little gray button that looks like this thumbs up. Yeah, make that thing go blue. All right. Release some endorphins whenever you do that. It feels good. It feels good for all of us. All right. Hit that like button. And then also share this content on your social media and then divulge yourself into the live chat. Feel free to fire away questions, get to know other members within the Pirate Gang community within our live chat. And hey, this is Business and Brews. Happy Thirsty Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get into introducing our special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show, Jake, All In Kid Ciely.
I think that makes up for the. I think you still had Ian Hartitz in the preview, in the breakdown, and the rundown part.
Oh, bro, no, in the intro, intro, man, it's an intro is just a compilation of like everyone that's ever been in this show. Yeah. Anyone and everyone that's like ever, I would use the term like sat on this couch, but we're not actually sitting on a couch. But like anyone and everyone that's like came through on a Thursday, boom, like, you know.
Couch, I mean, if you're doing you grab a seat, it's probably like sit on a stool, isn't it? Pull up to the bar.
Damn. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the rum boys and girls. What a do, dilly do. That's why Jake Ciely is in the building. Let's go. Jake, it's been about like what? Like, I want to say 2 weeks or so since we last talked. Yeah.
Look, it was. And now Barkley can get a special guest appearance. Say hi, Barkley. Turn your face that way. Stop looking at me. Look at this.
You're so pretty, though. Like that, man. You have beautiful, beautiful dogs, beautiful puppies. First thing that I wanted to get into, let's just go back to the very beginning of your fantasy football journey. This show, after all, is really just about you, the guest, and allowing our viewers to, a little bit into what it takes to get to the top or different avenues they can take in the industry. Let's start with your path. Where did it begin?
Where did it begin? It actually began on a Giants forum. Is actually where it began back in the day when. Yeah, forums were a thing. I don't know if they're really around anymore, but
no, I remember.
I'll tell you in a second. I don't know, but it was back in the day. It was a Giants forum. I don't remember what the site was that was hosting the forum, but it was you kind of develop relationships, quote unquote, like you do on Twitter and stuff like back in the day. And we would talk football, and then because I've been playing fantasy football since before 2000. I was in high school when I was playing. Oh, wait, college, high school. Yeah, I was in college. I wasn't that old. Holy crap. High school before that. So what really came down to is we would have chats, and then every single week people would start saying, oh, this is my fantasy decision this week. And we would start talking about our fantasy, and we played a fantasy league together. It was all Giants fans, all in one league. And I would start giving advice. And just every single week, just started giving advice. And then after about a year and a half of doing that, so it kind of spilled over. It was in the middle of one season, and then the full next season. At some point, one of the guys was just like, why aren't you doing this for a job? Like, why aren't you just doing this on the side? He's like, you're so good at it, and you know what the hell you're talking about. I was like, why aren't you doing it? So kudos to that person. I don't remember who you are. I don't remember your name, but you're the reason behind it, because as soon as he said that, I was like, well, okay, I'll do it. And I went to Blogspot, for everybody that remembers good old Blogspot.
I was up,
Started All In Sports Blogspot. You can actually still find it out there in like 2007, 8, 9, somewhere around there. And I started doing very similar to what I was doing now, weekly rankings. Weekly, all in bets, rivers and all that type of stuff with the poker terminology. And then I did that for about 2 years and started sending my stuff to anybody I could think of, which I sent it to the wrong people back then. I sent it to because you know how things are. It's like you want to send it to the people in control of the hiring. I was sending it to the talent. Like I sent it to like Tony Kornheiser and Max Kellerman and like Mike Wilbon and Mike Greenberg and anybody you could think of like that was on. So I said to all those people.
And you're just sitting back praying that like please one of you speak up in a meeting like, hey, I have this graph from this guy, and I think it'd be really awesome if we brought him on, or like we just did some work with them. So yeah. Oh, I feel that.
So I sent it out. The funny thing was, I think I sent out about 20 or 30. So two things is one is I actually found out that Max Kellerman was leaving ESPN before he left ESPN the first time because I got my mail back. It was like he's not here anymore. It was like so. It's like oh, Max Kellerman's not on ESPN.
I wonder if everyone else knows yet.
Yeah, out of all the 20 or 30 people, 2 people contacted me back. I mentioned 2 of them. Mike Greenberg and Tony Kornheiser were the ones that contacted me back. Greenberg called me, gave me advice. Very nice. He just spent like 5 minutes just telling me advice. Kornheiser called and yelled at me for 5 minutes, basically. But hey, I got to talk to Tony Kornheiser on the phone because he calls me and he goes, I got your stuff. What do you want to know? And I was just like, that's how the phone call started. I'm at work, mind you, when he calls. So I'm not expecting, I'm not expecting to answer the phone and Tony Kornheiser to be on the phone. And I'm also not expecting his first thing to be like, what do you want?
Well, what do you want, guy? Like, oh gosh, I'm just picturing Tony just like ready to go. Like,
are you picturing me with like the sweat running down my neck already?
Yeah. I'm actually picturing old you with like the longer hair, like. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I told him I was like, I just, I'm trying to figure out how to get to where you are. Told him I had a blog, and he's like, just if you want to be on radio, just start doing it. I was like, okay, great advice. He's like, if you want to be on TV, just start doing it. And he's like, what? I was like, oh my god, like this isn't advice.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, but how did you get to where you are? And he's like, well, I just started sending my stuff into the newspaper. Do you have a local newspaper? I was like, yeah, but we have no sports here in Virginia Beach.
Yeah,
we like minor league teams. And he goes, well, if you just want to do it, just start doing it. I'm like, if it was that simple, like just start doing like.
I want to be coming to you.
And this is like early 2000s, so it's not like it is today where you legitimately can go to a lot of websites and just start doing it. You could do what you're doing. You could just, hey, I want to start my own podcast on YouTube and start like this wasn't an option in 2004 or whatever it was.
Well, like, see, for me, it was like I'm already at that time when I started, I was like, I'm already in my late 20s. Like, my body is feeling the effects of 2 deployments already. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can't go back, studying at Full Sail or something and being in class with these young kids. Like, yeah, I want to become a sports anchor. Yeah. I was like, so I'm just going to do it myself. And luck is all I'm going to say.
And it does take luck because after that, when I was sending it out to everybody, there was this is how things came around to where I started actually doing this for the website. So there was 2 people. One was Tristan Cockcroft at ESPN. At my old job at the time, I used to jump into the lunch chat that he had every single week. And we kind of developed a relationship of we both like 24, the TV show, both love chicken parm. So he started to like recognize my name. If you do a chat every single week and you start to recognize people. So it kind of developed a relationship, so to speak. And actually I can call up Tristan if I wanted, like good friend now to this day. But
all right, Shannon Sharp.
No. You want me to call him, find out if he wants to leave ESPN? Like Julio Jones wants to leave it.
Oh Lord! I don't know. Does that break our grounds of journalistic integrity? I mean, shit, like, I'm kidding. Oh Lord!
It was him and Casey Joyner at ESPN at the time too.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, we know this guy Scott Angle that we used to work with. Send your stuff to him." And I sent my stuff to him and got picked up. I initially started doing college football, which was fine because I still do that today. I scout players going to the NFL draft. You know that. But I also, because I wanted to do anything to get my foot in the door, they only had an opening for that and fantasy NBA. So I started, I started with fantasy NBA and fantasy college football just to get in the door, just to start doing it, even though I'm baseball and football. So did that and just picked up everything that they would give. Like if somebody was out and there was a football column, I'd be like, I'll do it. I want to do football. And after about 2 years, started doing football and then worked there for a while. And then Nando and I got offers from the Athletic and head over to the Athletic and been there since 2018. as the senior fantasy football writer. I know like that later part sounds very condensed because I've been doing it since 2010. That's when Scott Angle hired me. And it wasn't until 2018, and it wasn't even until 2016 that I was actually getting paid full time to do it.
Whoa. See, and like so you're putting in the hours, you're putting in the grind, and like back then, when you were saying, you're submitting your stuff, like I'm envisioning you're submitting your articles, correct?
Yeah.
So you're not even submitting the audio of what you're also good at. You're just submitting this one
written.
Oh, damn.
I printed them out and sent the stuff that I sent was printed out and sent in like the big, whatever you want to call it. No, look, I say this all the time. I don't want anybody to have to work for free, but if there's certain, like, yes, ideally you can even get paid $100 an article or something like whatever it is, but how bad do you want it? I'm not saying I want everybody to follow my path. I don't want you to go 6 years of doing it for free, but at the same time, I say 5. The last year, the year before I started getting paid full time, I was getting paid like $50 an article, which isn't a ton. But what you touched on that we didn't get to, I was working full time at Lillian Vernon as the internet marketing manager. I worked at Geico at a college before that. I'm working full 40-hour, 50-hour jobs and doing 30 to 40 hours of fantasy football, fantasy baseball content on the side, being paid nothing and then being paid $50 because this was my dream. Like
straight up Mamba mentality.
I'm not. Hey, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, Robbie. I used to go to bed and pray. I'd be like, God, look, I want to win the lottery so I can do this because I would do this for free. Like that's what I was saying. It's like, if I could move to ESPN and do this for free, I would do it.
People think that I am insane when I tell them, like, yes, I reached a point where I was like, I have to quit my regular job. Like I was like, I needed to set myself free. I was like, how much 401k do we have? I looked at every investment. I looked at every stock and I was like, how long can I hold myself over for? I was like, just in case this flops. Luckily, I'm still good and I'm keeping my head above water. But I mean, bro, like you're right. I mean, and back then it was so different in the time period that you had started. You're talking about really going through the grind. Yeah, it's going to take you 6 years, then because social media wasn't there to be an aid. Now, hey, I'll be honest, if you can spit the analytics, but if you have some damn good marketing behind you and a little bit of a personality, like, I mean, you can do it. You can do it, and I think that it's starting to sink in. And one of the things I find fascinating, I want to know how you feel about this. We work in an industry where we are evaluated between both podcasting and fantasy football in the billions. Fantasy football just alone is about $9 billion by itself because, the DraftKings, the FanDuels, Monkey Knife Fights, so on and so forth. By the way, promo code RUMBOYS, and download the app. But, with that being said and with that being stated, statistically speaking, only 1% of content creators are earning a buck.
Right.
What do you think, because you've been pioneering and championing for the independent analysts for so long, what do you think that we need to start doing to maybe shifting that 1%? I feel like that number, for the industry to be as big as it is mathematically, and only 1% of us be getting paid for this, we have to start doing something, right?
Yeah, I think Evan Silva tweeted it out earlier this week, and he was talking about happy to see, I think it was Anthony Amico that got picked up by this site, Established the Run. I think that's what it was. But his point is like, what I was about to say is like when he started and I started and stuff like that, like your options were go to ESPN, go to Fox. Fox used to have fantasy sports back then, fantasy sports coverage. You go to the big guys. There was like 4 or 5 big guys, and maybe like me, you could make $50 at some random side site. Like that was unfortunately how things were. But now I think the 1% is just going to naturally grow because there are so many additional sites now. Is that you have established a run and FTN and Fantasy Points and all these sites that are starting to pop up, and these are the opportunities to go out there. It's like I'm not gonna poo-poo the juggernauts because it's awesome to be Mike Clay and Matthew Berry, and you would hope to be at that level someday, but that doesn't need to be your aspiration anymore. Like the fact is, you could even do your own content if you think it's good enough. I mean, there's a lot of people out there where you just mentioned Monkey Knife Fight as like an example. Is like if your podcast is bringing in listeners and viewers and you're doing well enough, people are going to want to promote and pay you to just be on your show. So I would say it's naturally growing, but at the same time, just support the sides. And this isn't to sell the Athletic, because I say this all the time.
Right.
You subscribe to the Athletic. I'm 1% to say your number 1%. I'm 1% of the site. Like you're not. People are like, here's the good things. Like when I first went to the Athletic, people were like, oh, you think you're going to pay for your stuff now? Like, no, you're paying for the Athletic, who pays me to have a salary to be able to do this. I'm saying don't even necessarily have to go to the Athletic. I would love you to come to the Athletic, but if you don't like me, go support the people you like. And that's what I'm getting at. It's like a lot of the sites I mentioned have subscriptions, and a lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to pay if I can get this for free. I understand that. That's what makes this industry, to your point, so tough, is because there is a ton of free content out there. But if you value somebody's opinion, if somebody entertains you, like, you're the great situation of you're entertaining and knowledgeable. So I'll throw that into the argument too. If you're trying to do it, find your voice. And I say your voice is in, you can find stats, you can find information, you can find player analysis on 100 websites. What else do you want? Like, do you want to be the person that's just entertaining and jokes yourself when you're wrong? Or do you want to be the stats guy? Do you want to be the film guy? Find out who you are. Don't try to, just emulate somebody else 100%. Find your voice. Like, this is why I'm coming back on your show. You're an entertaining show. Like, I
appreciate it.
You're different than most. And for everybody out there, if you start charging for your content, if it's good enough, those people pay, that's how you change the 1%. That's how you change the industry as a viewer, is support the people out there trying to make this their living if you think it's good enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that we got into that because, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I've been thinking, okay, what can I do to start helping other, other people, because I mean, I'm always going to want to, take care of myself, help myself, but it's something cringeworthy about seeing that 1% and knowing that's a statistic. And I found that out only because working with SportsMe app, and we were in a meeting and that stat got dropped, and I was like, "You're kidding me!" And like they were like, "No, like here's a graph and da 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 da." And I was like, like when I actually saw it with my own two eyes, it became a passion project kind of of mine, where it's like, okay, like let's start teaching marketing. Let's start, let's start doing this, to get the sponsors' attention. There's things out there of all the guys making the fantasy belts and the rings and all that stuff. Reach out to them. If you're not getting reached out to, send. In the words of Jake Ciely, send them your stuff.
Send it to everybody. Oh, I was supposed to circle back with that with Hoos. Barkley's walking around. That was the squeaking before.
Yeah, I don't know what. So yeah,
Barkley's mom was pregnant, rescue off the street. So I don't know what she's mixed with. We have Assumptions. I forget the name of the dog because it's kind of a semi-complicated name. But she's half pit, half something else. We don't know what the dad was.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that she's pit. I actually ran a pit rescue back home in Virginia, back in Spotsylvania when I used to live out there. Yeah, I had a couple of acres.
I'm listening to you. I'm pulling up the website while we're talking about it to see, because I remember there was a name for it. Definitely something. It's something around her. Oh, the Portuguese Podengo. If anybody's ever seen that,
I'm not even going to try and say that word.
So Portuguese and then Podengo, Podengo. If everybody wants to look it up, it actually looks kind of like Barkley to it. You'll see what the similarities.
You can share it. If you can share it, you can hit the share button if you want to put a picture up. Like,
here.
Do that. My show is your show. Mi casa is su casa. That's the way that I am.
Let's see if I can. Here we go. Share.
StreamYard's lucky they don't let me just have full like co-producer controls. So I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, click whatever you want. Oh wait, is it?
Let's see. Here we go. There you go. It should be shared now.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
The only difference is like a darker fur, a darker coat.
That's what we think she's shared with.
And she's a lot more muscular.
That's the pit.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'll tell you that. So like, bro, how did it come about? You know, with the rescue, like with the adoption. So for those that don't know, there's this great charity league out there right now. They're still opening up leagues. Everybody loves dogs. Shout out to the homie. Everybody hates Rob. I just keep running into people with my name. But yeah, everybody hates Rob on Twitter. And he's running, you know, a charity league for dogs. Where did your love come from?
So my parents have had they already have Great Danes. They've been part of a Great Dane rescue for years. At one point, they actually had four Great Danes up at one point. Yeah, they're down to one now. They usually have two so they can play with each other. But I've always been a dog person. We had dogs when I was growing up too, all the way from New Jersey to when we moved here to Virginia Beach. We've had dogs. And I wanted one for a really long time, but part of it was, you know, working two jobs and not being home and basically working 80 hours a week. It just wasn't conducive, or I didn't have time.
Yeah.
And so for a while I wanted one, and so if anybody knows how picky I am in life, I'm picky in general too. Like I want a dog, but I wanted a dog that doesn't bark a ton, that doesn't shed a ton. That's a big one. Like doesn't shed a ton.
Well, there's where the pit comes in.
Yeah. And then, but also like hopefully, which she's not as bad as I thought she was going to be, even though it's the pit mix, was hopefully one that would be able to sleep and take care of herself, you know, when I'm working, especially in the football season, like just the hours that I'm putting in stuff like that. And I always like the look of a pit. I always like the energy and the, you know, just the fact that it's so misunderstood as a dog. It's super ass loyal dog. For everybody out there that doesn't know, the reason they get the bad rap and the reason they attack people is because they are so loyal. That's the thing. Is like if you look it up, they're one of the most loyal dogs, and that's why they end up attacking. And it also comes down to the owner not teaching them properly. Like, exactly. So in any case, there's a rescue that works with the same Great Dane rescue that my parents go through, and they had a pit. They found the mom, and they reached out to my mom, and I went there to look at them, and there was like 6 of them there, 4 girls, 2 boys. And my mom kept saying, you want a girl, they're easier. The dogs are easier to manage. And of all the ones, girls. Yeah. Of all the ones there, I picked up the one that came to me and was holding her and pet her, and she fell asleep in my arms. And there was another one that actually had white, kind of like going down a third of its face. Yeah. And I initially asked about that one. And she's like, oh, that was the first one that got taken up. She's like, but we have another one that has the little white spot on her head. She's like, I'm pretty sure that was the one you were holding. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that works out. That's the one that came to me. And that was Barkley. That was the one that came up to me. Dude, she picked me. She ended up picking me.
That is beautiful. And that's the way that it always works. Like, so really quick, I feel like sometimes Barkley steals a little bit of your celebrity spotlight. Would you say that the puppy is as big of a fantasy football celebrity as you?
Bigger.
Okay, I figure. Hey, Barkley, you heard it here first on the Rumblers Fantasy Network.
100%. She's the one that gets all the Instagram love.
100%, bro. I see. So I like that we got to touch on the puppies and everything, because I actually had a pit husky, and then
my god, that you talk about energy. Holy crap,
bro. It was crazy. And my ex,
let me get the most energetic dog and also let it howl at the same time.
Bro, she was awesome, but my ex ended up during the breakup was like, got rid of my dog, and I was like, fuck. Broke my heart, man. It broke my heart. It's like every time I see you and Barkley, I'm like, I know the love. But it's all good. My birthday is in a couple of days, and Christmas is right after that. I told my wife straight up, I'm like, so we making something happen, right?
We're getting a dog.
Exactly. Shout out to Coach Dante.
I've been house shopping just because I kind of want to get a second one for her to play with.
Do it, bro.
But I need a backyard. I'm in a condo right now. It's a nice condo, but it's more like a patio. And like you really can't run around, and that's the thing. It's like I want a yard for her to be able to run around. But I'm sure everybody out there knows this. The market, like house market right now is beyond insane.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. It's not. Trust me, I'm going through it here in Colorado Springs, so I know that you're going through it there on the
everybody. You're gonna have to wait till the fall, maybe next spring.
Definitely. Speaking
I've been able to put in one offer. And I lost because the people who got the offer paid $50K over. Wait, Robbie. Full cash.
Bro, we came in with cash and still got beat. You tell me how that happens.
I want to know who these people are. I'm in Virginia Beach. I'm not in upstate New York. Who are these people?
People like where are you getting this money from? Like the fuck? Oh, dude, I feel it, bro. So speaking of East Coast, right? There's a chance I possibly get to come back to the East Coast, and I'm hoping. How did the Flex League start about? And I know that we got one planned this year, and I just want to appreciate you for an invite. Those that don't know, I've been waiting to be able to say it. I got invited to the Flex League. Like, what the hell? Like, so yeah.
Yeah, so so for anybody that knows fantasy baseball, which I know a lot of people watching just went, so just immediately tuned out. But anyway, there's Tout Wars and Labor, and they've been around for a long time now. I mean, I'm talking the 80s, maybe even before that for Labor. I don't know, but they're called expert leagues. I put that in quotes because we all hate the term expert. I like to call them industry leagues because, you're going against people in the industry that work for sites. And that's part of the requirements for both leagues is that you have to have published work and all that type of stuff. And you have to get invited to get in. It's not just hey, there's this, I go to a site to play, whatever. And it's an honor because it's, hey, I beat people in the industry. I can, there's people that post, I've won Tout Wars twice. I've won Labor once and Tout Wars once. And it feels cool to say that. So actually, when I started with Scott at my old company, one of the very first things in the door I said was, why aren't we doing this for fantasy football? How come nobody's running a fantasy football industry league? How come nobody does this? Scott was like, I can't tell you. I don't know. That's really funny. There you go. So you can start doing fantasy for free on the side.
Exactly. Right?
So
he's on my editor. Actually, Miles is my editor.
So there you go. Yeah, perfect. A dream situation to be able to do it for free. So anyway, I pitched, let's do this. I'll do it with somebody else. Why isn't anybody doing this for about 2 years? Because so this is 2021. So 2013 was the first year because it's the 8th year. Or technically 13, 14. So 9th year, right? Am I doing the math right? Because you have to add the extra years. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 8. So this would be 9th year. So 9th year. Because that's what you have to include the years. So good with math.
Let's hope I don't have to do a stat correction, huh?
Yeah. So we're going to the 9th year. And so this is twofold. So 2 things happened, and this is how it came about. The one is I kept trying to make it happen. I was like, let's somebody do this. Just somebody start. And I got to the point where it's I'll start it. And the way it got started is I was actually working for a side company at football.com. Best URL ever, worst management of said URL ever, because do you go to football.com? No, because it doesn't cover football. It covers soccer football, which is fine, but you had the greatest URL in the history of the world and you wasted it. But anyway, so I did a top 100 with people in the industry. So I took so I emailed 15, 20 guys and I said, send me your top 100. I compiled all of them to an average ranking. And then we released the 10 over 10. No, we did it 5 weeks. We released 20 at a time and counted our way up. And then I asked everybody to comment on one guy they thought was too high, too low, or perfect, that type of thing. And at the end of it, Jamie Eisenberg of CBS said, hey, you should get everybody who's in this in a league together. Yeah. And I said, I've been trying to do an industry league for ever. And so
Where have you been, Jamie? Like, come on.
So Jamie has, at that point, this is now still 2013.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands more connections than I do. So between the help of Jamie and also Dave Ganos and myself, we started Flex in a bar, thanks to Nando DeFino. A bar in New York is where we met for the very ever first Flex leagues. 2 drafts, and then got on Sirius XM the next year so everybody could listen to us drafting. And it's just grown since then. Last year was the biggest I've ever had. I say whatever. We had 5 leagues last year because they all had to be online. We had a best ball last year. And then, that's how it grew. It was just basically like same thing as doing this job. If you want to do it, just go do it.
Just do it. Just do it, man. So when you sent me the invite email, I won't release too many details here on air, but I turned to my wife and I was like, babe, I may possibly have to fly out to one of these 2 locations. Oh, here's the kicker. It's a week before Canton. And then she's like, she literally goes, she was like, I love you. She's like, you have the dream job. She's like, I can't believe it. I was like, yeah. I was like, who knows where I take this one opportunity, I go compete and I win because that's going to happen. Sorry, Jake. I'm sorry. I had to say it. But yeah, I go.
Yeah, that's fine. I've already won it like 5 times, so you got a ways to go to catch up to me. Listen, we get belts and everything. But here's the thing too: is like kind of what you just alluded to is the part of the reason I wanted to start it was because there's a lot of people like you right now. I've never met you in person, only on video. Like there's people I've only interacted on podcasts, not even video, and Twitter and stuff like this. Just so it's a chance for everybody to meet up every year and forget even just the draft. Just go out, get some drinks and some food and hang out and meet people in the industry and potentially make connections.
I have to say this really quick, okay? And I gotta say this on air. Once again, it's Business and Brews. We're just giving you guys, inside, just counting casual for real. Man, I'm really pissed off at myself personally because I've been following you on my previous account before I lost it because Twitter dates some hoes. In the words of that chick from Dr. Phil, the catch you outside girl. But no, man, and I had never reached out because honestly, I was nervous. Like I spent the first 2 years of my career being nervous. Like even after having interviewed 40 NFL rookies, I was still nervous to speak with other analysts because I was like, yo, we're the Rum Boys. Like our image is kind of different.
Right.
Like, I say whatever I want to do, whatever I want here, and everyone does that too. I'm just off the rails, Like I call us the Motley Crew. Honestly, I call our crew the Motley Crew of fantasy football because like would it ever really happen? No, but like metaphorically speaking, are we the type of people to throw a TV out of a window? Yes. Yes. We are those type of people because we just love life. We're super positive, upbeat, and everything like that. So I was afraid because I was like, even during the intro, all the names that you saw, like I just now started reaching out to these people because I just now started getting comfortable with my own brand. That it's like, oh, you guys are okay with this? Like, are okay with me? And it became like this weird thing. So, man, I appreciate you for, coming on even the first show and then allowing me to have that invite because, bro, that's acceptance. That's acceptance. Like, that's proof that like you guys out there that are watching, you can do something different. You can be different. And just people are still going to show love, like, regardless.
And that's my biggest thing is the industry as a whole too, to kind of go back and touch on the earlier question is that we all came from the same place. Like nobody, even the Jamie Eisenbergs and the Mike Clays and those guys, they didn't start at the top. They didn't start working for CBS and ESPN. They didn't start with 100,000, 200,000 followers. I told you how I started, and even that probably sounds like high for some people. Everybody started at some point. And if I don't want, I'm not going to this isn't throwing people in the industry under the bus, but this is just be honest about it. And I will, if somebody wants to come and somebody in the industry wants to come at me for what I'm about to say, then
I know
that's fine because
happen. Yeah.
That's fine because that's the person I kind of don't want to associate with to begin with. But if anybody doesn't remember where they came from and looks down on somebody that has 500 followers or is trying to break into the business or like, has a different way of coming at the game. Like, like you just said, you're the Motley Crue, like you're not the CBS's of the world, like where it's suit and tie and everything, that's
I'm wearing a tank top. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's my own brand.
I love Jamie and Dave Richard and Heath. I love all those guys at Animated. Like, that's a different style, but that doesn't mean that's the only style that has to be out there. So if people don't remember, like people are like, hey, I don't want to do your podcast because you're not there yet or whatever, then honestly, you don't ever want to do that. You don't want to ever talk to those people.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, exactly, man. See, I like that we took this chance on here to just have this kind of conversation. Let's go ahead. Let's break them off with a fantasy question really quick. Let's give them just some quick analysis before we hop up. We're only gonna make this 45-minute show.
Oh, by the way, I wore another friend shirt for you. It's a moot point.
Yeah, I did I that. Yeah, I was about to comment on that. I was waiting, but yeah, you beat me to it. I was about to say towards the end of the show, thank you for remembering, the Friends trivia. Fucking solid. Yeah. See, thank you. Yes.
Friends for life.
Friends for life. Oh my gosh. All right. So I've been getting a lot of kind of, and I don't really know where I sit, so it's been hard to advise people on this specific player. David Montgomery, where are you sitting and what are you advising your followers to do in regards to David Montgomery's situation? I mean, we're 97 days away from kickoff. Like, we got to start thinking about it for real.
Yeah, we do, which is crazy that we're under 100 already. That's awesome. That's great. He's an RB2. If you're in Dynasty or Keeper, sell him now because people are still going crazy over what happened last year. It's not just the schedule for the last 6 weeks. Actually, they faced 5 teams in the bottom 8 for run defense because they faced, I think, Green Bay twice in there. It's not just that stretch run. It's also, there was no Tariq Cohen. Like, let's remember Tariq Cohen is coming back. Tariq Cohen is going to come back and be somewhat of a factor. And I say somewhat, isn't necessarily going to see 80 receptions, but he's going to be involved. And if he's not, you seem like they've kind of made some moves to say, you know what, maybe we still want to sprinkle somebody else in because David Montgomery's fine for a running back. I can not like him as an RB1, but still like the player.
I love the player. So, like, really quick story, man. So I go out to the NFLPA rookie premiere in 2019, go do the interviews. The last night, Debo, Devin Singletary, a couple of other players, we're all in the elevator. David Montgomery was in the elevator. And they're like, hey, you guys want to, kind of come out and, party with us tonight. Like, we're going to hit up the Playhouse on West Hollywood. And like, me and my business partner at the time, we're like, fuck yeah, like, let's go, and then my business partner at the time, Ty Boogie, he's a huge Bears fan. So he looks at David and he's like, hey, are you going to be going? Like, I'll buy you a drink or whatever. And like, David's like, no, man, I'm too focused on the season. I'm getting ready. Jake, I shit you not. It is now like 2:30 in the morning, like 2:30 in the morning. Our Uber drops us off at the Beverly Hills Hilton. We're walking inside. The gym is just the see-through like glass, We're all walking in, players, they're all like behind us and like they're doing like NFL player things, like as an episode of Ballers, and we're walking ahead and we're like, we're done because like I had a Kevin Hart moment. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and make my bank account keep up with Deebo Samuel's bank account. And I had no business doing that. That was the worst decision I ever made. Like, I literally turned to I was like, how much money do we have in that? Do we have enough money in the company bank account for an extra bottle of champagne? Like, we're doing it. But nah, so like we're walking in, and I shit you not, Jake, I see David Montgomery just straight up, just getting it at 2:30 in the morning while we're all drunk as shit. I'm like, I'm drafting this guy on my fantasy team. Like, he's got to. And then I'm just my only thing is like, it's just Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy won't call the right plays. Like, you're using Tariq Cohen in the red zone for what?
Because you're trying to lose your job. You already know that.
so that's where I'm sorry I had to go into the story time really quick, but it's like, because like you said, you can like the player, and I love the player because his work ethic is insane. He was the only player in that gym at that time.
Hey, I mean, that's a testament to him. But yeah, like, see, part of the thing, so like the player, I don't love him as much as you do. Well, no, from a fantasy standpoint.
Appreciate the dono hype. Thank you, Coach Dante.
Thank
you. Cheers, brother.
The thing is with Montgomery is I am 60-40 watching like games versus versus like analytics, the metrics and all that type of stuff. And I say 40 because you can't do one without the other. I always say, like, if you're all analytics and metrics and no watching games, you're doing a mistake. If you're the complete opposite, if you're like, I could care less about metrics, then you're still doing it wrong. You need to do both.
Yeah.
The thing that got me frustrated with David Montgomery is that people also who do the metrics focus on one too often. Like, one is part of the puzzle. Like, what's a puzzle? Honestly, if you just took one piece of the puzzle, tell me what the puzzle is. You don't know. You can't take just one piece. And that was the thing with like David Montgomery. It's the same thing with Zach Moss last year. Everybody looked at the PFF broken tackles in college. They're like, oh, they break all these tackles in college. They're going to be amazing. But let's look at the entire player. Okay, yes, that's a stat that points to success, but let's take the entire thing. So I say that about David Montgomery to say that I think David Montgomery, pure talent, is kind of it's kind of juke rate. There's another one. Yeah. I think David Montgomery is kind of like a tier 2 running back.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing. It's just he's also an RB2 in fantasy. That's the thing. So
I promise we would be looking at this guy completely different if he had a different coach. It may be a different team. But
you think he'd be top 10? I will never.
None of those things are going to happen. None of those things are going to happen. So yeah, he's never going to be top 10. But like, it sucks, man. It sucks. Like I said, he has the work ethic. It's like you said, man. You can love the player, but in fantasy, and a 10-team charity league that I'm in, the one I was talking about earlier, he went in the 5th, 5.7, and he was fair. Yeah. So I mean, and he went like right before Myles Gaskin. So like, would you rather like Myles Gaskin or David Montgomery?
David Montgomery.
Okay. Montgomery or Gordon? Melvin.
David Montgomery.
Okay.
You know what we're doing, right?
Do
you know what we're doing?
We're making a list.
Oh, you're not supposed to say it like that.
Oh shit! Sorry. What are we doing? I'm sorry.
We're making a list.
So I was waiting for you to say it. I was like trying to like low key say it. I was like, I think I know what we're doing. Yeah, let's make a list.
You just kind of did. You got 2. Who else you want to throw out here? Let's do it.
All right. Let me look back at this draft. James Robinson.
David Montgomery.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. So I end up going James Robinson instead. Actually, I had Melvin Gordon and James Robinson, but they're like late running backs. They're like my 5th and 6th running back.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, Josh Jacobs or David Montgomery? Yeah. Got you there.
I'll take Jacobs by a hair.
Okay. Miles Sanders.
Can we get him on a different team?
I please. The fact that this guy came from Alabama, right? Came from Alabama, had probably the least amount of miles a running back could have had coming out of college. That was his upside. And just as soon as he got to Oakland / Las Vegas / wherever the hell that they want to be, just, oh my goodness. And then you bring in Kenyon Drake. And Gruden's grinders just grinds my gears, in the words of Peter Griffin. You know what really grinds my gears? Freaking John Gruden and Matt Nagy. Those two as play callers. All right, let's go with a wide receiver. All right. A lot of people right now they're iffy on Cortland Sutton. Okay, they don't exactly know what they're doing with Sutton. I've seen Sutton in 12-team go as late as 9th round, like 10th round. What are your thoughts?
If he's lasting that long, I'm taking him every single time around earlier to make sure I get him. Put it that way. I think people forget how good Sutton is. I think people forget. Like, look, there's the injury risk. There's no denying there's an injury risk. But one thing I said about Sutton when he came out of college is very similar to like Marquise Lee. So Marquise Lee is somebody I use as an example a lot. And the reason I use Marquise Lee as an example a lot is because he was somebody who was naturally gifted, dominated in college, but could have been even better and struggled initially in the NFL and took him a long time. And he actually started to finally get right and break out right before he got hurt, unfortunately. And you hope a lot of these players don't take as long as he does. Terrace Marshall in this year's draft is the same thing. Terrace Marshall and Cortland Sutton are actually a great comparison for each other. But where I'm going with this with Marquise Lee is that because they're so dominant, they're lazy. And where I say lazy is they don't run crisp routes. Yep. They don't care about separating and disguising their speed. So one thing is like anybody who watches football, and you know this, you could run a 4-0 flat, which nobody has ever done. If you run a 4-0 flat 100% of the time, you're not fooling anybody because you're running the same speed all the time. You need the nuance as a wide receiver to vary your speed and you basically disguise some of your routes.
Yes. Yeah. And that's one of the people always ask, they're like, oh, well, what was a receiver that you loved growing up that you studied a lot of film of? Because I was this tall, lanky guy, I watched a lot of Keyshawn Johnson growing up. And I know, yes, I'm a Washington football team fan. Why would I be watching Keyshawn? It's just I would see him and I see him on the screen. I'm like, damn, I could do a lot of that. I could be that possession guy, not exactly the fastest receiver. But, hey, we can create some separation. We can run good routes and we can get the open field ball and then take it to the house. So, I mean.
Oh, I was the opposite. I was Cole Beasley. I was like, you're not gonna stay on my hip. Because that was the only way I was gonna catch the ball because I wasn't out muscling you. That's why I had to be that guy.
I love being physical. I have this weird way of playing. So I hung up my cleats at 2 years ago at 28. And I have like this weird thing about playing. Like, I don't care if you hit me, like, because I'm going to pop up and just use that to make a better play the next time. So I don't care. Like, I'm one of those, like I'm going to just style on you. I will do anything and everything. I love the game of football. I love the sport. And there's so many different games within it. There's so many different games within the individual game, like how I light up my feet, where my hands are placed, like at the line. Sorry. We just went there.
I'll admit something embarrassing about myself. Like I tell my court, do not throw me into a safety coming down on me because I will stop. Like I don't want to get licked. Like I don't care. I'm the exact opposite. I'm 6 right now. I'm 6'1", 175. I don't think I want to say I was like I had a late growth spurt compared to most, but I want to say in high school and even in college, I was more like 6'1" and like a $155. I was Tutu Atwell with height.
I am Tutu Atwell right now. Like right now, I am Tutu.
And if I had your body right now, like I'm not that much bigger than 175, but I'm not that big. But still, even that like the 20 extra pounds. Like if I had your body, I'm still going to do the same thing. Like I don't want to do 200 pounds breaking me in half. I just don't want it. I'm sorry. Like I was never like, yes, hit me.
I like coming at someone full speed because they're like, oh, he's small. I'm gonna hit him, and I'm like, oh, just wait, I'm gonna get lower than you, and then and I just come up, and there's like, oh shit, was not expecting that, and wasn't expecting you to be that fast. Like, yeah,
see, I was more defense too. I'm the ball hawking safety. I'm not even trying to light people up. I'm trying to just go get the ball. I'm focused on the ball every single time. But the Cortland Sutton thing, to come back to that, like, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how
you're fine.
We did that.
He's extremely talented. And for like, again, I think Terrace Marshall is a great, I didn't even comp Terrace Marshall in my pre-draft write-up, but like Cortland Sutton and Terrace Marshall are very similar, like, because they have the size, they have the speed, they out-muscle and win balls. If you watch Terrace Marshall, you know this. If you watch Terrace Marshall at LSU last year, go back for anybody that wants to just go watch some Terrace Marshall. Watch how often the corner is on top of him. But it doesn't matter because he's Terrace Marshall and he's winning those balls. Similar to Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay doesn't separate, but he wins the balls because he's Kenny Golladay. So I say all that about Cortland Sutton and Terrace Marshall, these kind of guys. It's like there's another level if they ever do start separating, if they ever do what it took a couple of years for Marquise Lee to do. And and start run better routes and gain more separation, where Courtland Sutton's ceiling, he might not ever get there. Courtland Sutton's ceiling is an NFL #1 wide receiver and could be top 12 in fantasy. That's on him to get there. And of course, he's got the injury concern too, but I like Courtland Sutton a lot. I've been buying him a lot because people seem scared of him in Dynasty.
I'm scared of the whole Broncos receiving core, to be honest with you, bro.
Because Drew Lock. But if it's Teddy,
I'm still scared. like because it's something I haven't seen before. So I'm afraid of the Broncos receiving core when it comes to receivers, and I'm afraid of the Texans backfield when it comes to running backs. Those are the two teams as a whole where I'm like, pivot.
Backfield is your freaking like hospice care over there. What are you talking about?
Bro, straight geriatrics. What's the name of the retirement home the Broncos Stadium is named after? Damn it, Empower Field.
Is that what it's named after?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Retirement home now, bro. Yeah, I
don't pay attention to the stadium names. It's still mile high. It's still mile high for me.
Man, when they renamed it, everyone
and Arrowhead
lost
and all
it.
I just. Dude, nobody calls them what they're called now.
No, the old school names are so much better. So much better. But yeah, really quick, Jordan, you're right. You're right. I when I touch down Friday, I'm gonna get a quick workout in when I'm in Canton. Anybody wants to see me on the field, you can get this work. I'm flying out with my gloves and my ball and my cleats. I fly with them everywhere. So yeah, it's just another day in the office for me. I need to start posting clips of me running around. So I'm gonna start posting clips. But yeah, man. Hey, Jake, I appreciate you for coming on today's show. Teddy supported 3 wide receiver 2s last year for what that's worth. You're saying that because you're a Panthers fan, Jordan. Like, that's why you're trying to do that to me right now. And that's where that analysis is coming from.
He's not wrong.
He's not. He is not wrong.
He did it with not even throwing 20 touchdowns. He didn't even throw for 20 touchdowns, and he still supported 3.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong for telling Panthers fans that QB19 is Sam Darnold's potential and his only potential? His ceiling is probably
QB15. And honestly, if he gets inside the top 15 quarterbacks, we
were about to sign off.
No. If Sam Darnold finishes as a top 15 quarterback, speaking of the Hall of Fame, can we just put Joe Brady in it in 2022? Just skip the process. You go into the Hall of Fame, Joe Brady.
Oh my gosh! Automatically, if he can make Darnold a QB15, then if Darnold becomes a QB15, I need to come up with something clever. Oh gosh, you just gave.
If Sam Darnold throws for 4,000 yards and 28 or more touchdowns, you have to buy a jersey.
I'll do it. Does it have to be a Darnold jersey? Can't just be any Panthers player.
No, it has to be a Darnold jersey.
I'll do it. Oh gosh, that's not to suck. I'll do it. And on that note, we're definitely gonna sign off now. Oh shit, I could potentially lose that bet.
You realize what you just said? You could potentially lose like 4,028 touchdowns would be such
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. But I mean, it's a new system, and we're talking post Gase. Like, this is where football superstition comes into place.
Well, part of it is Darnold too. He had one of the worst, actually for his career. He's among the worst in clean pocket performance. There's a metric for you if you want to throw out like the completion and on target percentage. He's been god awful. Like there's no sugarcoating what he's been so far. But we just saw Teddy. They're just right. Teddy hadn't been a thing since his rookie season. He actually did the same amount with more opportunities in his second season because he played a full season, but had almost the exact same numbers. And then he got hurt and everything that happened since then, and had some of his best numbers to date. And you talk about on target percentage, completion percentage, passer rating, all that type of stuff. Some of the best numbers he's ever had. So if anybody can do it, it's Rule and Brady. Yeah. But Adam Gase was still living off Peyton Manning.
He was riding that till the end. He's like, I'm a good coach. I'm a good coach.
I'm watching. Manning's got a new game show he's hosting. I don't even know what it's called. I just know I saw a commercial for it. I was like, I'm watching it. I don't care what it is.
Him, Dwayne Wade, like everyone's getting these game shows. Steph Curry had a putt golf show like for like a little while. Like yeah, everyone's just getting a show. Like maybe you know what? we should holler at our friends Jamie and Heath and be like, can you talk to the game show side?
Do like a game show on CBS.
Yeah, and like but it's Jake and I that host it though. But you guys help get us in the room.
That's how you making connections.
Exactly, making connections. Really quick before we go, your favorite pop that you own.
Favorite pop? Oh, that's here. I'll tell you, that's it. That's an easy one. I mean, I have a lot. Like I love that's the Iron Man snap at the end, which is a great one. I got the Mandalorian, of course. Saquon Barkley is right there.
Rick and Morty. I see the Morty or the Rick right there.
Rick's right there. Voltron's right there. I have a lot that I really like, but it's Darkwing Duck, man. It's Darkwing Duck.
Yeah. So 90s. That was so 90s.
DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and Rescue Rangers and Tailspin, but Darkwing Duck especially. That was the one. That was the one.
Did you see the? I'm sure you're probably. I don't know if you're on TikTok or not. If you are though, you should follow me. Because that's where I'm doing a lot of new fantasy football marketing. So I'm like, yes, new players, please follow me.
I think I'm just barely too old. I'm not that old, but I just feel like an old. I feel what's the? I don't even know the term. What do they call us if we're old people?
Isn't it like over the hill or something? No, not over
the
hill. Boomers.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not that level old, but I feel like if I got on TikTok, I would feel like a boomer if I got on TikTok.
I feel weird when I'm there, but I realize that marketing is marketing. I'm just going to do it anyway. But the point I was saying was I saw a TikTok, and I don't know if you know about this with pops. I don't recommend doing it, and I don't know why anyone would do it. But if you pop like the top of their head off, like if you kind of quote unquote scalp your pop, there are toys inside of there, like inside of them, like there's actually there's like a toy and like there's like a brain and everything. Yeah, I will send you the video so that you don't do this to your own, but I will send you the video.
I don't believe you. This is like one of those things where it's like you do,
like I don't. Like,
what was the? There was one where it was Cards Against Humanity. Where they were like, if you cut the box open, there's a hidden card. And everybody's doing this like it was full of crap. Like it's just like I don't believe you.
Bro, I don't know. I saw it and I saw someone else duet the video and I was like, oh, like maybe
like there's no rattling. There's nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's in a package. It's in a packet. Like it's in like a plastic wrapper and like you open it and like like they have like different things that go with them. And
I don't believe you. I don't believe these people.
Hey, I'll send you the video and you can let me know. You can be the judge. That's why I brought this up.
By the way, Miles, of course, I know there's a reboot for Darkwing Duck coming because I watched DuckTales reboot and I watched the special, which the Darkwing. I'm just honestly, Miles, I'm hoping that it's actually still happening because they canceled the DuckTales, which I'm still pissed off about after 3 seasons.
Dude, you know what I would give for another freaking Power Rangers movie, but this time like them actually use the old like original costumes. Like,
did you watch the new one?
I watched the new one, but I want the old costumes still. Like I need Green Ranger with shoulder pads.
Like they're kind of like the Saiyan uniforms.
Yeah. Oh, when Dragon Ball Z did. Oh gosh, when Dragon Ball Z made their live action, Saiyan. Gosh. Speaking of Power Rangers, the Green Ranger. I actually took a Taekwondo class from Tommy Davidson, whatever, from that dude. Like it was a free class. Yeah.
Wait, like, it's not Davidson. Tommy Davidson's the comedian.
Or not Davidson. Whatever his freaking the dude. The
I know you're talking.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I said fucking Pete Davidson's a comedian. Damn it. Oh,
Pete Davidson was going out with Kate Beckinsale for a while.
That dude gets so lucky for being as ugly as he is, but I'm not here to judge him. But damn. David Jason Frank. There it goes. I said Davidson and yeah. And I said Jason because the Red Ranger was Jason and my ADD. I'm sorry, y'all.
He lost me like 2 minutes ago.
It's all good. But yeah, I took a Taekwondo class from that guy. And it was pretty cool. Yeah. I was like freaking 9, dude. It was pretty dope. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Business and Brews with our special guest, Jake Ciely. Jake, where can the people find you? What can they expect next from you? All that good stuff.
The easiest way at OlinKid at the Twitter handle, because I tweet out all the athletic stuff, which is where my stuff is at the Athletic podcast, including all the type of things. Just dropped I'm doing my series that I do every single year of the next breakout blank. So I did the top 5 breakout quarterbacks, top 5 breakout running backs. This week was top 10 breakout wide receivers, and next week close it out with tight ends, which is everybody's waiting for the tight ends, of course. But the top, go check out the top 10s. I never expected so many people to be angry about calling Jalen Reagor a breakup, which is just like, and
bro, I would. I'm gonna get angry about that. I didn't comment on that tweet, by the way.
Oh, you didn't? And here's the thing. All I said is he's going to be a wide receiver 4. He was a wide receiver 8 last year, which is wide receiver 90s. Like, so I'm not saying not every breakout has to be top 20. Like, breakout doesn't mean the next amazing. There are some that are in there that are top 20, but for him to go to a wide receiver 8 to wide receiver 4 is still a hell of a breakout for Jalen Reagor.
I kept telling people that hey, Corey Davis is eventually going to pop off. It's going to pop off. And then finally in year 3, it was like, yep, I told you. Look, wide receiver 2 to fringe wide receiver 3. Like,
hey, he was in my bold prediction article last year, and I didn't even expect that. Like, you can't say that you expected it to be top 25.
No, I didn't. I didn't expect that to happen, but like, I was excited when it did. When it happened, I was like, well, that happened better than I expected.
It's the exact same thing. I was like, yeah, make him your last pick or your second to last pick in every single draft. But I wasn't expecting that.
Dude, I'm not banging the CD drum this year. I'll be dropping my sleepers soon. My sleepers will be coming soon. Rumboys.com. And yeah, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Business and Brews. Jake, I appreciate you for chilling in with us, bro.
Of course.
Hey, someone play my outro. Oh wait, I play my outro. Let's go.